Laziness is not something you're born with. It is a choice you make every day. Every time you delay action, procrastinate on your goals, or choose comfort over progress, you are making a decision to stay exactly where you are. The problem is that most people don't realize they are choosing laziness. They justify it with excuses like, I don't feel motivated, I'll start tomorrow, or I'm just too tired. But the truth is, every time you give in to laziness, you reinforce the habit of inaction. And that habit slowly kills your dreams. Success does not happen by accident. It happens when you take control of your actions and train yourself to show up, even when you don't feel like it. The difference between successful people and those who stay stuck is not talent, intelligence, or luck. It is the ability to push through discomfort and take action no matter how they feel. The reality is, no one wakes up every day feeling motivated. Motivation is temporary, it comes and goes. If you rely on it, you will always struggle with inconsistency. Discipline, on the other hand, is what keeps you moving forward. The most successful people have trained themselves to act whether they feel like it or not. They understand that laziness is a choice, and they refuse to let it dictate their future. The first step to killing laziness is becoming aware of it. It is easy to tell yourself that you are just taking a break or that you deserve to relax. But if you find yourself constantly avoiding the work that needs to be done, it's not rest, it's resistance. And resistance is what keeps people from reaching their potential. The longer you allow laziness to control you, the harder it becomes to break free from it. Every time you push something off until later, you reinforce the idea that delaying action is acceptable. But the people who achieve real success understand that action must come first, even before they feel ready. One of the best ways to break the habit of laziness is to change your self-talk. Instead of saying, I don't feel like it, shift your mindset to, I do it no matter what. Instead of saying, I'll start tomorrow, I take action now. Your mind believes whatever you repeatedly tell it. So if you constantly give yourself permission to be lazy, that will become your identity. But when you start speaking and thinking like someone who takes action, your behavior will begin to align with that new identity. Ultimately, laziness is a battle between comfort and growth. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it leads to regret in the long run. Growth, on the other hand, requires discomfort, but it leads to success, confidence, and fulfillment. The choice is simple. Either take control of your actions and train yourself to do what needs to be done, or let laziness take control and watch your dreams slip away. Success is not given, it is earned. And it is earned by those who refuse to make excuses and instead make the decision to take action every single day. Energy is the fuel that drives action, and without it, nothing gets done. Laziness often stems from low energy, not just a lack of motivation. When energy levels are low, everything feels harder, and even the simplest tasks seem overwhelming. The good news is that energy is something that can be controlled and created. It is not just a random feeling that comes and goes. It is a state that can be generated through movement, breathing, and the right mindset. The fastest way to break out of laziness is to change your physical state, because motion creates emotion. The body and mind are deeply connected. When the body is still, the mind slows down and energy levels drop. This is why sitting for long periods, lying in bed too much, or avoiding physical movement leads to laziness. The moment you stand up, stretch, take deep breaths, or go for a quick walk, your energy begins to shift. This is why successful people prioritize movement, whether it's exercising, taking cold showers, or simply engaging in power poses, because they understand that the way you move affects the way you think and feel. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting to feel energetic before they take action. But energy doesn't come first, action does. If you sit around waiting to feel ready, you will never start. The key is to move first, and the energy will follow. This is why athletes warm up before a game, or why speakers jump around before stepping on stage. They are not waiting to feel energized, they are creating that energy themselves. The same principle applies to everyday life. If you feel lazy, do something physical. Jump up, shake your body, do push-ups, or even clap your hands loudly. These small actions might seem simple, but they send a powerful signal to the brain. It's time to wake up and take action. Breathing is another key factor in controlling energy. Shallow, slow breathing keeps the body in a low energy state, while deep, controlled breathing increases oxygen flow, making the body feel more alive. When feeling lazy, taking 10 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth can instantly change how the body feels. This is a simple yet powerful tool used by high achievers to shift their state within seconds. Laziness often tricks the mind into believing that the body needs rest, when in reality it needs activation. There is a difference between actual exhaustion and the kind of laziness that comes from a lack of movement. Many times, the moment you start moving, you realize you weren't actually tired, you were just stuck in a low energy state. This is why breaking the pattern of stillness is crucial. Even if starting feels difficult, committing to just 5 minutes of movement can create enough momentum to keep going. Energy is not something that is found, it is something that is generated. The body is designed for movement, and the more it moves, the more energy it produces. By mastering energy, laziness can no longer take hold. The ability to take control of energy levels is one of the most powerful tools for success because when energy is high, action becomes effortless. Waiting for motivation is one of the biggest traps that keeps people stuck in laziness. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes based on emotions, circumstances, and moods. If you rely on motivation to take action, you will always struggle with inconsistency. The truth is, action must come first. The moment you take the first step, motivation follows. It is not the other way around. The most successful people do not wait until they feel like working. They take action despite how they feel, and in doing so, they generate momentum that pushes them forward. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is, I'll start when I feel motivated. The reality is that if you wait for the perfect moment, you will never start. Those who achieve success do not let emotions dictate their actions. They have trained themselves to take action regardless of how they feel. The first step is always the hardest because the mind tries to resist change. But once that first step is taken, it becomes easier to keep going. This is why people who struggle with laziness often stay stuck. The longer they wait to start, the harder it becomes. The key to breaking laziness is to take action immediately without hesitation. The longer you think about something, the more reasons your mind will find to delay it. Instead of waiting for motivation, commit to a simple rule. Take action within 5 seconds of thinking about something important. If you need to get up and work out, do it before your mind convinces you to stay comfortable. If you need to start a task, count down from 5 and begin before you have time to doubt yourself. This simple habit disrupts the pattern of laziness and forces movement, which then creates the momentum needed to keep going. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces against laziness. When you take action, no matter how small, you build energy. One task leads to another, and before you know it, you are in a flow state where work feels easier and progress is being made. This is why starting is always the hardest part. Once the initial resistance is broken, continuing becomes effortless. Think of it like pushing a heavy object. The hardest part is getting it to move, but once it starts rolling, it requires less effort to keep going. People often believe that they need motivation to start, but the truth is that motivation is created by starting. The best way to build lasting motivation is to develop habits that make action automatic. Instead of debating whether to work, train, or take action, create routines that eliminate the need for decision-making. When something becomes a habit, it no longer requires motivation. It just becomes part of daily life. The only way to kill laziness is through action. Stop waiting for the right feeling and start moving now. Once you begin, the motivation you were waiting for will show up. But if you continue to wait, laziness will only tighten its grip, making success even harder to reach. The choice is simple: act now or stay stuck forever. Laziness thrives in comfort. And as long as you stay in your comfort zone, you will never grow. For comfort feels good in the moment, but it is the enemy of progress. It creates a false sense of security that keeps you from pushing yourself to achieve more. The reality is that nothing great has ever been accomplished by someone who refused to step outside of their comfort zone. If you want to succeed, you must learn to embrace discomfort, challenge yourself, and break free from the habit of staying where things feel safe and easy. The comfort zone is dangerous because it tricks the mind into thinking that it is protecting you. It makes you believe that taking risks is too dangerous, that failure should be avoided, and that it is okay to settle for good enough. But what it really does is hold you back from reaching your true potential. Growth only happens when you push yourself beyond what feels familiar. The greatest achievements, the biggest breakthroughs, and the most rewarding successes come from stepping into the unknown and forcing yourself to rise to new challenges. One of the biggest reasons people stay lazy is because they're too comfortable. They are not forced to change, so they don't. They are not pushed to work harder, so they don't. They allow themselves to remain in a cycle of doing just enough to get by, never pushing themselves to see what they are truly capable of. This is why people who experience real success are those who intentionally seek out discomfort. They understand that growth comes from struggle, and they embrace it instead of avoiding it. Breaking free from the comfort zone starts with small challenges. It does not mean making huge, overwhelming changes all at once, but rather pushing yourself a little more every day. If you always wake up late, challenge yourself to wake up earlier. If you avoid difficult tasks, commit to tackling one small challenge at a time. If you are afraid of failure, force yourself to take action despite the fear. Each time you do something outside of your comfort zone, you train your mind to become stronger. Over time, what once felt uncomfortable becomes normal, and new challenges no longer feel as intimidating. The most successful people in the world did not get to where they are by playing it safe. They faced challenges, took risks, and pushed those beyond their limits. They understood that growth requires struggle, and they welcomed it instead of running from it. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck in laziness is their willingness to embrace discomfort. When you develop the mindset that difficulty is a sign of growth, you begin to chase challenges instead of avoiding them. If you continue to stay in your comfort zone, you will remain exactly where you are. But if you start pushing yourself even in small ways, you'll begin to see change. Success is not about talent, luck, or intelligence. It is about the willingness to grow, to push past limitations, and to do the hard things that others avoid. Kill the habit of seeking comfort, and you will kill laziness in the process. Your future depends on how far you are willing to push yourself beyond what feels easy. The mind is a powerful tool, and it can either push you towards success or keep you trapped in laziness. One of the most effective ways to break free from laziness is to rewire the way you think about it. The human brain is designed to seek comfort and avoid pain, which is why laziness often feels good in the moment. But the key to overcoming it is to associate laziness with pain and progress with pleasure. When the mind believes that being lazy leads to discomfort, failure, and regret, it will naturally seek action instead. Most people allow their brains to trick them into believing that rest is the solution to feeling tired or unmotivated. But the truth is, most feelings of laziness are not caused by exhaustion, they are caused by lack of momentum. When you repeatedly choose comfort over action, your brain starts associating action with difficulty and laziness with relief. This is why getting started feels so hard. But the moment you take action, your brain begins to shift. You start to feel energized, engaged, and capable. The problem is not the work itself, it is the resistance your mind creates before you start. One of the most effective ways to overcome laziness is to create strong mental associations. If you continuously tell yourself that laziness leads to failure, frustration, and a life of regret, your brain will begin to reject it. If you visualize the pain of staying stuck in the same place 5 years from now because of inaction, that discomfort will push you to move forward. The mind responds to the images and thoughts you feed it. If you keep reminding yourself of the long-term consequences of laziness, taking action will start to feel like the only logical choice. At the same time, it is important to attach positive emotions to progress. Every small win should be celebrated, no matter how minor it seems. The brain thrives on rewards. When you acknowledge progress, you train your mind to associate action with pleasure. Instead of dreading work, you begin to enjoy the feeling of growth and accomplishment. The more you reinforce this connection, the easier it becomes to stay disciplined. Another powerful tool for rewiring the brain is visualization. If you can see yourself succeeding, overcoming challenges, and achieving your goals, your brain will start working toward making it a reality. People who achieve great things do not just rely on hard work, they program their minds to expect success. They think about their goals daily, imagine what it feels like to achieve them, and mentally see themselves in the position of winning. This process makes action feel natural rather than forced. Laziness is not a permanent condition, it is a mental pattern that can be changed. The key is to shift your perspective. Stop seeing hard work as a burden and start seeing it as the gateway to the life you want. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. If you train your brain to crave progress and reject laziness, success will become not just a possibility, but an inevitable outcome. Distractions are one of the biggest killers of productivity, and they play a major role in feeding laziness. Every day, countless distractions compete for attention: social media, television notifications, and mindless entertainment. These distractions make it easy to procrastinate and avoid the work that needs to be done. The problem is that most people do not even realize how much time they are wasting because distractions have become a normal part of daily life. The more attention is given to distractions, the harder it becomes to focus on meaningful tasks. Success requires focus, and focus can only be achieved by eliminating distractions. One of the biggest traps people fall into is thinking they can multitask. They try to work while checking their phone, watching videos, or browsing the internet, but in reality, multitasking kills productivity. The human brain is not designed to focus on multiple things at once. Every time attention is switched from one task to another, mental energy is lost. This is why work that should take 1 hour often stretches into 3 or 4 hours, because focus keeps getting interrupted. To break free from laziness, the ability to control focus must be developed, and that starts with eliminating unnecessary distractions. The environment plays a huge role in how productive or lazy someone becomes. If the workspace is filled with distractions, it will be impossible to stay focused. A cluttered desk, a constantly buzzing phone, or easy access to entertainment will always tempt the mind to drift away from work. Designing an environment that encourages focus is crucial. This means creating a workspace where distractions are minimized, turning off unnecessary notifications, and setting clear boundaries with people who interrupt productive time. A person's environment should be a reflection of their goals, not their distractions. Another powerful way to eliminate distractions is to set clear time limits on important tasks. When there is no deadline, the mind tends to wander and procrastination takes over. However, when a specific time frame is set to complete a task, the brain naturally shifts into focus mode. Using techniques like the Pomodoro method, working in focus bursts with short breaks, can help maintain concentration and prevent burnout. The key is to train the mind to work with intensity for short periods instead of allowing tasks to drag on for hours. Social media is one of the biggest distractions in today's world. It is designed to keep people scrolling endlessly, stealing valuable time and energy. The more time spent on social media, the less time is available to work on meaningful goals. The most productive people set strict limits on social media use, choosing to engage with it only at specific times instead of letting it control their day. Removing social media apps from the home screen, setting app usage limits, or even taking breaks from social media can significantly boost focus and reduce laziness. Distractions will always exist, but they do not have to control life. The ability to focus is a skill that must be developed, just like discipline. By eliminating unnecessary distractions, structuring the environment for success, and setting clear boundaries, laziness loses its power. The more control that is gained over focus, the easier it becomes to take action, stay productive, and achieve meaningful results. The people you surround yourself with have a direct impact on your mindset, habits, and level of success. Energy is contagious, and if you are constantly around lazy, negative, or unmotivated individuals, their mindset will rub off on you. No matter how ambitious you are, spending time with people who make excuses, complain about life, and avoid hard work will slowly drain your drive. On the other hand, surrounding yourself with high achievers, disciplined individuals, and people who push their limits will elevate your standards and make laziness impossible. One of the biggest mistakes people make is underestimating the power of their environment. It is easy to believe that personal motivation alone is enough to overcome laziness, but the truth is, the people around you influence your thinking more than you realize. If the people in your circle waste time, lack discipline, and settle for average, you will find yourself doing the same. Even if you have big dreams, their habits will pull you down without you even noticing. However, when you are surrounded by individuals who are driven, focused, and always striving to improve, it becomes you adopt to strive and the same mindset. Success leaves clues. If you want to develop discipline, look at those who have already mastered it. If you want to build a strong work ethic, spend time with people who consistently push themselves. The more you engage with individuals who prioritize growth, the more their habits and mindset will influence you. This does not mean you need to cut people out of your life completely, but you must be intentional about who you allow to influence you. Instead of spending hours with people who drain your energy, invest that time into learning from those who inspire and challenge you. The fastest way to elevate your mindset is to immerse yourself in an environment of excellence. If you do not have access to high achievers in your immediate circle, start by consuming content that aligns with your goals. Listen to podcasts, read books, and watch videos from successful individuals who embody the mindset you want to develop. Join communities where people are actively working toward their goals. The more you engage with growth-oriented people, whether in person or virtually, the more your thinking will shift. Another crucial aspect of surrounding yourself with high-energy people is accountability. When you are around individuals who expect greatness from themselves, they will naturally expect the same from you. They will not let you make excuses or accept laziness as a way of life. They will push you to take action, challenge your limits, and remind you of your potential when you feel like giving up. Being in a circle of high achievers forces you to level up because success becomes the standard. Laziness thrives in weak environments. If you want to kill laziness, place yourself in an environment where success is the only option. The people around you should inspire action, challenge comfort, and push you to be better every single day. The moment you change your environment, you change your future. Success is not measured by words or intentions, it is measured by results. In a world where people love to talk about their dreams, plans, and goals, very few actually put in the effort to turn those words into reality. Talking is easy, but execution is what separates achievers from those who remain stuck. Laziness thrives in a space where words replace action. People convince themselves that planning, researching, or thinking about their goals is enough, but in reality, nothing happens until action is taken. Results speak louder than words, and the only way to prove commitment is through execution. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to achieve their goals is that they focus too much on what they intend to do rather than what they are actually doing. They tell themselves they will start next week, next month, or next year, but when the time comes, they find another excuse. Procrastination disguised as preparation is a major trap. Planning is important, but if it becomes a never-ending cycle of overthinking and waiting for the perfect moment, it becomes an excuse for inaction. The truth is, there is no perfect moment. The best way to start is to take action now, no matter small. Results come from consistency. It is not about doing something once in a while. It is about showing up every single day and putting in the effort, even when no one is watching. Many people quit too soon because they expect instant success, but true achievement comes from long-term commitment. It is about pushing through difficulties, staying disciplined, and putting in the work when motivation fades. The most successful people understand that consistency is key. They don't wait to feel inspired. They create their own momentum by taking action daily. Another reason why results matter more than words is that action builds credibility. People respect those who get things done, not those who talk about what they will do someday. If you want to be taken seriously, let your work do the talking. Stop trying to convince others of your potential, show them through action. When you consistently deliver results, you won't need to explain yourself. Success is undeniable when it is backed by proof. Laziness destroys potential because it keeps people stuck in a cycle of talking without doing. It creates a false sense of progress that leads nowhere. The only way to break free from this trap is to develop the habit of execution. Instead of saying, I will do it, shift to I am doing it. Instead of announcing goals, silently work on them until results make the statement for you. The world rewards those who take action, not those who just talk about it. The choice is simple: either let laziness win and watch your dreams fade, or take massive action and let results speak for themselves. Words mean nothing without action. If you truly want to achieve something, stop talking and start doing. Your results will always be the loudest proof of your commitment, discipline, and success.